In the heart of a vibrant African village lived a young woman named Amara. At 20, she was known not for wealth, but for her kind heart and the stories she inherited from her grandfather, a wise elder deeply connected to the old ways. On his deathbed, he bequeathed to her his most guarded secret, a small, intricately carved wooden charm. He told her, "Amara, this charm holds the spirit of prosperity. It will grant you immense wealth, more than you can ever imagine. But it comes with a single, unbreakable rule. You must never ever wear trousers. The magic is tied to the earth, and you must always allow its energy to flow freely." Amara, grieving but intrigued, accepted the charm and the strange condition. True to her grandfather's words, her life transformed overnight. Ideas for businesses flooded her mind. Investments she made on a whim skyrocketed. Within months, she was not just wealthy, she was a billionaire, a celebrated entrepreneur whose name echoed across continents. She moved from her humble village to a sprawling mansion in the city, her wardrobe filled with the most exquisite dresses, skirts, and gowns from around the world. She honored her grandfather's warning diligently, never once letting a pair of trousers touch her skin. Her success was a marvel, but she always remembered the source of her fortune and the simple rule that governed it. Life was a whirlwind of board meetings, lavish parties, and philanthropic events. Amara, the girl from the village, was now a global icon. She managed her vast empire with a sharp mind and a generous spirit, never forgetting where she came from. She built schools, hospitals, and wells in her home village and across the country, sharing her prosperity just as the earth shared its energy with her. The world saw a brilliant young woman, a prodigy of business. Only she knew the magical secret that powered her success, the little wooden charm she wore on a cord around her neck, and the unusual sartorial restriction that came with it. One year, Amara was invited to an exclusive, high-stakes charity polo match in England. It was a prestigious event, and the dress code was strictly equestrian chic. Her stylist, a renowned fashion guru from Paris, insisted that the perfect outfit was a pair of custom-made, white riding breeches paired with a stunning blazer. "It is the only way, mademoiselle," he had urged. "Anything else will look out of place." Amara hesitated, her grandfather's voice echoing in her memory, but the pressure was immense. Everyone who was anyone would be there. For the first time, she felt torn between the world she now inhabited and the pact she had made. After days of agonizing, she gave in. Just this once, Amara told herself, her heart pounding with a strange mix of excitement and dread. It's for a good cause. Grandfather would understand. The breeches were exquisitely made, fitting her perfectly. As she pulled them on, a strange, cold sensation washed over her, but she dismissed it as nerves. She looked in the mirror, a powerful and stylish equestrian, ready to conquer the polo field. She felt a pang of guilt, but the allure of fitting in, of looking the part at this pinnacle of high society, was too strong to resist. The moment she stepped out of her limousine at the polo grounds, she knew something was wrong. A sudden, piercing headache blinded her for a second. She stumbled, her vision blurring. The vibrant green of the field seemed to fade to a dull gray. Her phone began to ring incessantly. It was her chief financial officer, his voice frantic. "Amara, the markets are crashing. All our major stocks have plummeted. It's a catastrophe." Another call came through, this time from her head of operations. "There's been a fire at our main warehouse. Everything is gone." Panic seized her. She felt a cold dread creep up her spine, far colder than the feeling she'd had when she put on the breeches. She looked down at the pristine white trousers, and she understood. She had broken the pact. The magic was unraveling. The connection to the earth's prosperity was severed. In her haste to fit into a world of glamour, she had forgotten the source of her power. The charm around her neck, once warm to the touch, was now ice cold and heavy, a dead weight against her skin. Frantically, Amara ran from the polo grounds, ignoring the confused stares of the high society guests. She had to get back to her hotel, had to take off the breeches, but the damage was already cascading. News alerts flooded her phone. Her companies were filing for bankruptcy, her accounts were being frozen, her assets seized. By the time she reached her suite and tore off the offending garment, it was too late. The empire she had built in a whirlwind of magic had vanished just as quickly. Stripped of her billions, Amara was left with nothing but the clothes on her back and the now powerless wooden charm. The private jets, the mansions, the couture gowns all gone. She returned to her home country not as a triumphant billionaire, but as a cautionary tale whispered in the city's elite circles. Her journey back to her village was a humbling one. The world that had celebrated her now shunned her. She arrived at the village, dusty and defeated. The elders looked at her with knowing sadness. Her family welcomed her, not with disappointment, but with open arms. In their embrace, Amara finally wept, mourning not just the loss of her fortune, but the loss of her grandfather's trust. She had been given a great gift, and she had squandered it for a moment of vanity. The little wooden charm was now just a piece of wood, a reminder of the delicate balance she had shattered. In the quiet simplicity of village life, Amara began to heal. She traded her designer dresses for simple cloth wraps. She worked the land with her family, feeling the soil between her fingers, reconnecting with the earth in a way she hadn't since she was a little girl. There was no magic, no instant fortune. There was only hard work, the rising sun, and the community that had never left her. She discovered a different kind of wealth, one not measured in currency, but in connection, resilience, and the quiet wisdom of her ancestors. The story of the girl who lost it all became a lesson. True prosperity isn't a gift to be taken for granted, but a harmony to be respected. And Amara, no longer a billionaire, was finally, truly rich. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more.